Please join me in welcoming Aiden from Illinois, pronouns are she, her. Welcome, Aiden. You were calling specifically to talk to Dave. So, how are you?
Hey, Aiden.
Good. Hey, glad to talk to you again after so long. And hello, Matt, for the first time.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I have good days and bad days, but just wanted to give you a quick update.
Please.
Just so basically, I'm sorry.
No, please keep going.
I was just going to say, so basically I called back in January about Death with Dignity, and I took a lot of time reading over the comments, and there was a lot of good stuff in there. So I've talked to a couple of friends of mine who are like really close friends forever, and I'm planning on having them basically be my power of attorney, if possible. And then unfortunately, it probably wasn't more than a week after I had called you that my mom basically shunned me for about 2 months because I told her that, I didn't believe anymore. And I was upset, of course, at the time, a little bit about the stuff I had gone through growing up. But I've been keeping up with the Secular Therapy Project and making a lot of great progress with that. And this last thing is I haven't made much progress with my diagnosis. Unfortunately, they want to put me through like a whole regimen of different tests. And one of the very first ones they want to do, which probably wouldn't tell us much, is like $3,000. And I just don't have that right now. So I've been doing other stuff that I love instead, including I've started joining a group that's based out of Vermont, a humanist group. And in fact, you got to talk to the leader of it, Chris West, during the Atheist Convention. So I was a little jealous, but very happy.
Awesome.
I met Chris there. Yeah. Tell us what you're dealing with physically, your physical ailment, and because I remember the call. I believe Jim and I were doing the show that day, and but remind us what your condition is.
Basically, it started out as just what looked like a regular autoimmune disorder that manifests as narcolepsy. But since then, I've been experiencing worsening symptoms, dealing with losing control of my muscles. Often days I'll wake up and have constant tremors now throughout the day. I also have noticed that I stop breathing while I'm sleeping a lot, but not enough that it would really be conclusive in a $3,000, study for a sleep study again. So dealing with that. And then I've also noticed that, I'm like my feet are dragging a lot, or my hands don't, work quite the way so like my handwriting looks terrible now, but I'm just kind of working through it as best I can.
Yeah, I remember that. And it wasn't diagnosed as ALS or something similar to that. So you don't know that if it's terminal or just a chronic thing that could be fixed. But I guess the thing that we talked about then, and the thing I'll remind the viewers here, is it's your body. It's your life. I'm sorry you're having trouble with your mom. And there are going to be people who obviously don't agree with our lack of belief in God, our atheism. When we depart something that's precious to them, they have trouble with that, and it's understandable, but it shouldn't affect who we are and what we do and how we live our lives. And so I'm glad that you've got the autonomy there that you need, and you've taken control of that. As far as living and dying, as I've said many times with my ALS, it's my life, and I should have a say in how and when I get to end that, if I will. If as with a terminal illness, I'm not bound by someone else's idea of when I should expire. If I come to the point where I'm not satisfied with the quality of life that I have left, it's my life, and I should have the decision to choose what and when and how. And that's something I'm adamant about. I believe we talked about that in the last show, the Death with Dignity laws that are
correct
in some states, and the Final Exit Network that I work with, things like that.
Right. Yeah. Right now, I'm just trying to kind of preserve my quality of life, and Like I said, the tremors have worsened even in just 4 months. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not sure, like I said, what to do there. And I haven't been able to get a really honest second opinion yet. So regardless, at least I can start planning, because it's only getting worse, and it's only going to get worse. That I do know for sure. So I just want to make sure I have everything in order. And, like I said, a lot of the listener support was really helpful in figuring out like how to do kind of like a power of attorney thing and be prepared.
Well, good for you. Glad you got those things going, and good support. That's important.
Yeah, it's one of those issues where when we talk about the atheist community at large and what our goals were. As a matter of fact, I just did a video about what it is that the atheist community at large is trying to achieve. And there are a number of different criticisms that come up of like, well, what has atheism done for the world? Because religion has built universities and churches and all networks of people who help people. That's what people have done on behalf of their religion. Their religion hasn't done shit except divide the world and create trouble. But one of the problems is that religious organizations have had a massive advantage where not only have they had a ton of adherents, but they've had special treatment from the government, et cetera. And so we're fighting an uphill battle. And it's nice. I especially like hearing about atheist communities, online and otherwise, that are branching out from, hey, we're going to argue about God, to we're also going to do the things to build communities and help people who are in need. And so finding out that there were individuals in the atheist community who've given you advice and helped with, legal matters and health advice and things like that. Now, granted, nobody should be giving health advice other than a doctor in any real sense. So I'm looking forward to hearing, you've gotten your second opinion and you've started a treatment plan and you know more about what's going on. But I genuinely share the frustration, despite not having that diagnosis. I can appreciate to some extent, not fully, but to some extent, what you and Dave and others are going through. If for no other reason than, the triple bypass operation I had in December, which could have been the end of me. It wasn't, and it's not the end of most people. It's got like a 95% success rate now. But it did make me think for a minute, hey, what's going to happen? And I was like, I didn't feel anything where I needed a God or a church or a religion. I had the family and friends and the people in the broader atheist community on my side pulling for me, and I couldn't have hoped for more than that.
Yes.
Yeah,
It really.
I completely understand. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know like my trouble right now, even though like the area I'm in, I wouldn't consider super religious. I am having problems finding even a non-religious medical hospital to help me with one of my diagnoses, because it's pretty severe. It's basically a non-cancerous tissue that's crawling on my organs. And I have to have like basically like hormone supplements and birth control to supplement that and keep it from growing. And I actually had to have my doctor specifically look for one hospital in the area that's not religious so that they would actually prescribe me what I need.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. It's tough. I tell you what's heartwarming for me is what Matt alluded to there, that people from this show, from watching you on this, hearing your call on this show, when you called in, reached out to you, made contact with you. I think I've connected them. I'm not sure if I remember right, but I did meet Chris at the Atheist Convention in Atlanta, and he said he'd been in regular contact with you, and that you've gotten good support from just people who watched the show and listened when you called in and wanted to connect with you. I thought that was beautiful, and it speaks to what
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah, it shows what we're capable of when we just move, like Matt said, move beyond the question of faith, no faith, God, no God, and to see what can we do, what can I do as an atheist in the community to make someone's world a better place. It's that simple. It really is.
Absolutely.
I really
So
appreciate
I don't want to keep you guys, so thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Aiden. I appreciate the update,
Yeah.
and we hope the best for you. Please, if the situation changes or you find something or you have good information to share with others in the community, by all means, give us a call back. But
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for checking in, Aiden. Good to hear from you.
much appreciated.
Absolutely. Good to hear from you guys too, and take care. And nice to actually officially talk to you, Matt. Take care. Bye.